What is up, everyone? Rich Renegade here, wanting to discuss with you the news of finally Crash Bandicoot is coming back in some way, shape, or form in the future, with Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3 being remastered for the PlayStation 4. Now, you guys and girls have probably seen a lot of sort of videos online discussing this, as well as Crash Bandicoot coming into Skylands, which is an added bonus. Now, this was much more than what I was expecting, a lot of people were expecting, but this actually leaves me hopeful, as well as a little bit worried about sort of what could potentially happen with Crash Bandicoot, and I'll go into why. But for those that haven't seen the conference, essentially it started out with Crash Bandicoot being announced that they're going to remake him all for the PS4, but we don't know as to the Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3 that is, but we don't know the time frame of firstly when they're going to be released. So we don't know if it's going to be, say, one a year, one every, say, 6 months from a certain point, or one every 9 months, etc. But Crash Bandicoot is coming to Skylanders first as an exclusive character for the PS4, and to be honest, he looks actually very, very good, even just as like a character. He's got his sort of regular moves that he would normally have. They're kind of twisted up, but he's actually able to sort of shoot out TNTs and use his spin attack like a tornado to hurl those TNTs around, which is actually awesome. I hope he's got the Wumpa Bazooka or the Fruit Bazooka. And maybe, hopefully, he's got like a running ability where he becomes invincible. I actually made to pick up the Skylanders Mansion. It's just solely to play as Crash Bandicoot, I'm not gonna lie. But with the actual remakes, now, the reason why it's got me hopeful is because depending on how successful Crash Bandicoot 1 remastered, 2 remastered, and 3 remastered, if they're going to go with the original titles and just slap on remastered, or if they're going to just call it Crash 1, 2, 3 remastered, or whatever titles they eventually give to the remasters, if they sell well enough, we could potentially look into seeing maybe another remaster of Crash Bandicoot, a la, say, Crash Team Racing, which would be amazing if they eventually done that. Or potentially we may see a brand new Crash Bandicoot game in the style of the old ones. Now, this is where the issue is, because a lot of people, including myself, have been wanting Crash Bandicoot to return in some way, shape, or form for the longest of time. There was rumours many, many years ago that Crash Bandicoot was going to be announced at an E3 or conference, and it was either going to be multi-platform, or there was so many rumours that were being sort of spun around. And to be fair, with each E3, everyone that was looking for sort of Crash Bandicoot to appear, it was getting a little bit disheartening until last year, and then a few other leaks were coming out, and a few little hints and sort of little bits of information were coming out. Now, in terms of the remaster, we don't know in what vein it is, whether it's going to be a straight remaster, or if they're going to add in missing content from the other Crash Bandicoot games that were, say, missing or couldn't make it into the final cut back in the PS1 days into the remastered version. That would be pretty cool if they were to do that, but the reason why it's got me slightly worried is because there's been a few games in the past, there's probably more than a few games to be fair, that have been remastered in some way, shape, or form, and the reason why these companies have done it is to solely see engage the interest of us as the consumers and the fans, to see if we're actually going to put money where our mouth is and actually buy and support the content. One in particular that comes to mind as a platformer is Klonoa. Now, this game, it's sort of got a cult following. I love this game on PS1, and when it was announced for Wii, at the time I didn't even have a Wii console. I bought the game specifically so that when I got a Wii, which I got a few years later, I could play it, and it is probably one of my favourite remasters of all time that I've ever played. I love that game to no end. But this is the issue, that game didn't sell that well. A lot of people, a lot of fans were asking for it, and they did state, and I can't remember when it is, but there was this sort of Q&A that they done with their creator at the time, and they said if Klonoa on Wii does well, if it sells well, they will remake Klonoa 2, and whilst critically it done well in terms of reviews, a lot of people liked it. In terms of sales, it didn't do that well at all, and it's kind of dashed any hopes of Klonoa even being potentially remade for current gen, or even a sequel to, say, Klonoa in terms of the platforming game ever coming out. Another game in particular that comes to mind, and again this is just off my memory, is Darkstalkers Resurrection, a fighting game that was essentially bringing Darkstalkers 1 and 3 to PS3 and 360, and some online components and ranking, and potentially they were going to do a Darkstalkers 4 game for current generation. And they did put out a little trailer showing that Darkstalkers is coming, but we haven't had anything concrete since. And again, going back to the Darkstalkers 1 and 3, or Resurrection as it was called, the actual sales, that didn't sell awfully well at all. A lot of fans were asking for it, and it doesn't seem like it garnered the support or attention that it needed to warrant a sequel. Now, I'm pretty sure Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3 is going to do well, but and this is another issue, is that in that press conference, they kind of confirmed that Activision still have the rights for Crash Bandicoot. They say they struck a deal to have Crash Bandicoot remastered 1, 2, and 3 solely for the PlayStation 4. So this isn't dependent on what, say, Sony feel is, say, good in terms of sales. This is all down to Activision. So it's more of a case that if Activision don't necessarily feel that the sales are strong enough, then potentially this may make this support from, say, Sony to Activision to remake Crash Bandicoot, say, CTR, or do a sequel with Activision, with maybe the in-house team working on it, and then putting it to PlayStation 4 exclusively, or even multi-plat, could potentially be an issue. Hopefully it's not, but that is probably one of my most defining, most hype moments in E3. Just that one little bit that a classic mascot is going to come back fully remastered. Again, we don't know the extent of what this remastered is going to be. Hopefully in the months to come, I'd imagine PlayStation Experience, we will at least get a teaser trailer as to what the first Crash Bandicoot remastered is going to look like, as well as a date. So I'm very, very hopeful, and hopefully Crash Bandicoot 1, 2 and 3 remastered will sell well. So all I can say is that if you guys and girls want Crash Bandicoot to return after the remastered state, for however long it's going to be for all 3 games to come out, just make sure that you buy the game itself. And even if you've got a friend or family member, make sure that you buy it. I've actually still got the original games here on disc and even on digital download for my PS Vita, and actually revisit them every now and then, and I have a blast, whether it's just playing it with myself or playing it with any friends that come around, because everyone sort of has that childhood game, that game that they grew up on playing and have very fond memories of. So hopefully the remaster is actually done well, and hopefully it does sell well. But tell me what you guys and girls think. Are you concerned in any way, shape or form about the remaster, about the state of it, what could potentially happen? Or are you hopeful, where you think that it's going to sell well and we'll potentially get another Crash Bandicoot game? Or if you're a bit like me, where you're kind of sort of on the fence in regards to where you're hyped for Crash Bandicoot returning, but worried that it's not going to sell well? Again, there are many other games that haven't sold well after a remastered or sort of re-rendition of it, but I would love to know your guys and girls' thoughts on that. Tell me in the comment section down below what you think, and are you actually going to get the Skylander Crash Bandicoot